Happening now, the search for a missing Jamestown man continues today. We hear from his family next. Plus, Jamestown Public Schools are concerned with this new wave of COVID-19, what the superintendent has to say.
Well, the winds are coming up through the afternoon, near record-breaking warmth, but it all goes downhill for the weekend. We'll talk about it in detail next as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Family and friends of a missing Jamestown man continued their search efforts this morning, 3 weeks after he was last seen. Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. 56-year-old Kevin Hornberg first went missing on Monday, November 22nd. He was last seen on Prendergast Avenue here in Jamestown. Now today, Hornberg's family, friends, and members of the Jamestown Police Department searched a 2-block radius of Prendergast Avenue and Stiller's Alley in hopes of finding answers. His older sister, Susan Baldwin, spoke with our crews before the search today. She says police did investigate the Olean area after someone spotted someone who looked like Hornberg. However, that lead did not pan out. A reward of $1,000 is now posted.
But we've gone in and out of places where we'd heard he'd been, and abandoned buildings, looking in windows of old bars and stuff like that, where, thinking, well, maybe he broke in from somewhere and is laying around and nothing. And so far, nothing.
Hornberg is known to frequent the Tops grocery store on Washington Street and the Robo gas station on North Main. He has a cross tattoo on his forearm and another tattoo between his pointer finger and thumb. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to contact Jamestown Police at 716-483-7536. A Ripley woman was sentenced yesterday in connection with an August arson fire. The Chautauqua County District Attorney's Office says 53-year-old Melissa Bridges will spend 3 to 9 years behind bars after she was convicted of third-degree arson, a Class D felony. Bridges was accused of setting several items on fire next to a residence at 100 West Main Street in Ripley back on August 5th. The flames eventually grew and ignited that house. There was one resident inside the apartment building at the time of the fire. Fortunately, he was uninjured. And a 51-year-old Jamestown man is in custody after allegedly breaking into a building on Prendergast Avenue last night. City police allege Daniel O'Neill tripped the security alarm, prompting a response. When officers first arrived there, they found a side door ajar. A perimeter was then established. Police entered that building, locating O'Neill inside the kitchen area. Officers ordered him to exit and surrender. He failed to do so, they say, and attempted to barricade himself inside. Officers reacted and rushed into that kitchen. Now, following a brief struggle, police say O'Neill was taken into custody. While he was inside the building, it's alleged that he damaged a kitchen door along with other areas of the structure. Well, salaries will now be increased for various positions in the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office. The Chautauqua County Legislature approved a local law last night amending salaries for the undersheriff, captain, warden, and corrections lieutenants. According to the agenda, the salary range of each position would increase to allow for a monetary benefit for promotional opportunities. Legislator Terry Nebel addressed his colleagues prior to the vote, explaining that he was tasked the Sheriff's and Human Services Department to research similar information in other counties throughout the state. The measure passed 18-0 with one absent legislator. Well, as winter break approaches for school students, we are hearing from Jamestown Public School Superintendent about their battle against COVID and how things have changed. Our Julia Grass reports on the progress the district is making.
We had said, and I had said, number one priority is keeping kids safe, keeping our employees safe. Keeping everybody safe is number one. Second to that is education.
That's Jamestown's public school superintendent, Dr. Kevin Whitaker, who shared the school's evolution in the way it has handled battling the pandemic. The superintendent noted how the initial switch to virtual learning caused anxiety amongst students and how important it is to keep students in school and together.
And our challenge last year was the 6-foot rule. The 6-foot rule basically said you had to keep everybody separated by 6 feet, and in our buildings and with our classroom sizes, we just didn't have the space to do it. So we had to come up with something creative. When that 6-foot rule was eliminated and it really turned into the 3-foot rule, then we could make something happen.
Though Whitaker notes that the jump from 500 kids at Jamestown High School to 1,400 has been stressful, it has not greatly increased the transmission of COVID-19.
Really think that if we can get our kids vaccinated at a certain level, whatever the science tells us, 80%, 70%, we're going to put a major dent in this COVID thing, and we're going to be able to get back to normal.
He furthers that currently there are no cases of in-school transmission, for which he gives credit to their updating of policies as well as masking and vaccination.
But the reality is that our procedures and requirements and quarantines and all those things have been slightly modified all the way along the path. So whereas, say, a year ago, we had everybody quarantined all the time, and even at the beginning of this year, I think it was, even as of the summer, it was anybody on a team, anybody who's part of an association, a club, whatever, one person test positive, the entire club, the entire team, no matter what the contact rate was or ratio was, everybody had to quarantine. Well, that's different now.
The superintendent praises the community for rolling with the punches and taking on this challenging landscape as the school has learned and evolved. Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Julia, thank you. He tells us there are measures in place if the state were to tighten their restrictions again. Well, some exciting news. Jamestown's premier source for television news is celebrating its 5-year anniversary. Western New York News Now, as you know as WNY News Now, was founded on Friday, December 16, 2016, to provide a locally owned, operated, and community-driven news source for Jamestown. The mission? Simple: to serve underserved communities across our region, delivering a first-class news product to residents in what we're calling news deserts. Now, ironically, minutes before our first meeting to formally establish our business back in 2016, we filed our first report, a drug raid across the street from Jamestown Police Headquarters. Supported by local advertisers, today, WNY News Now maintains a 24/7 digital newsroom, in addition to this very daily broadcast. Over the summer, we partnered with the folks at Lilly Broadcasting, strengthening our regional news coverage abilities, working alongside Erie News Now, among other stations. While some lead anchors, reporters, and producers here at WNY News Now have come and gone, one thing remains the same: our proud tradition of celebrating the community we serve every single day by telling your stories. To mark that, we're asking you to join the show and share us in the comments on social media using the hashtag #LocalFirst. Share your moments, your thoughts as we continue. And of course, be sure to tag WNY News Now. And we thank you, because ultimately that's what it comes down to, is you, the viewer. And over the last 5 years, I just have to say I'm so grateful for the community's support and for our advertisers' support to make this possible. And we'll look forward to the next 5 years and more. Well, one of the things that we are looking forward to on this busy news day out there, of course, is the weather. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us live now with a look at that. Dakota, happy anniversary to you as we celebrated. And one of the big things we were talking about this morning in our news meeting is we paused to reflect it, but it's not about us. The news keeps going.
Exactly. And I mean, you know, I've been here a little over 4 years, so I've seen a lot of change here. And I mean, you know, the weather office is one of them. The weather office started as a teeny little desk in the corner, and I don't know if very quickly we can take that weather center shot very quickly. I know we're kind of heavy today, but yeah, this is kind of, I mean, that's not the full weather office, but you know, you can kind of see how the weather office has grown over the years. We started, yeah, there we go. We started as a small little teeny desk in the weather in a corner. Now we have a full operating weather office that is ready to respond to any weather. And of course, we now have a full team of weather office. It just started with me, and now we have Andrew. So anyway, now getting into my job, actually, speaking of which, happy anniversary to you too as well, to all of you watching. Warren City Bank Skycam shows you those clouds moving on in, but it's a warm day, 58 degrees, and the clouds have started to move in now. So again, I don't think temperatures are really going to rise too much past where we're at now, since the clouds have started to move in, keeping that solar radiation up in the sky. 41 was the high yesterday. Started the day at 38. We'll talk more about this record high coming up a little bit later on. But through the afternoon, strong wind gusts, near record warmth. Scattered showers arrive later in the day. So basically through the afternoon, we should stay dry for much of the afternoon, 54 to 60 65, and the wind gusts could be around 50 miles an hour later in the day. Stay strong this evening, then a whole mix of precipitation arrives for the weekend. We'll talk about it with an Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day forecast later on in the show. Justin?
The number of people sick with COVID-19 in Chautauqua County slightly declined over the past week. That's according to the county health department. There are now 658 active cases of the virus, with 41 people hospitalized. That down from 741 active cases and 51 hospitalizations from the prior week. Nevertheless, 726 new cases of COVID were reported, with 11 new deaths linked to the virus. Of those hospitalized, county leaders say 76% of people are not vaccinated. Overall, New York State's vaccine tracker reporting nearly 60% of county residents have received at least one dose of the shot so far. And even with the decline in COVID cases in our area, regionally, there's a major concern at hospitals as intensive care unit beds are filling up. WNY News Now's Elsbeth Meisner with more.
Around this time last year, Erie was celebrating a major milestone.
I'll never forget the day when the vaccines arrived and then we subsequently started administering them.
But just 12 months later, it's a much different story.
We know Erie County has remained some of the highest positivity rates even across the country. And so our concerns are that going into the holidays that we're going to have a lot of spread with any type of gatherings. And so yes, we are definitely concerned and watching for that post-holiday surge.
Emily Shears of UPMC Hammett says while it may be discouraging that we're still in the midst of a pandemic, vaccines have helped prevent serious cases of COVID-19.
Our current surge would be much more critical and much worse than even last year if we didn't have vaccines and if we didn't have effective treatments like monoclonal antibodies.
Dr. Chris Clark of AHN St. Vincent agrees. The vaccines have been huge in preventing hospitalizations, but that hasn't stopped AHN St. Vincent from handling high case volumes in recent months.
About 38% of our total COVID patients since this all started have been admitted since September of this year.
Dr. Clark says the average amount of COVID-19 patients admitted this month is higher than where we stood a year ago, which is alarming.
I can't wait till this current spike comes to an end. And at some point we will peak, if we haven't peaked already, and see a decline.
Elsbeth Meisner, WNY News Now.
Coming up, the latest on the Buffalo Bills star quarterback's foot injury. Won't he play this weekend? And later, we tell you about a Jamestown middle schooler, her giving mission, giving back this year. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
Happy holidays from WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Hi, I'm Al Steffens, owner of Chautauqua Comics. For the last 28 years, we have been your premier retailer of comic books. But we have so much more.
Located at 214 Fairmount Avenue in Jamestown, the shelves are stocked with everything from superhero to classic G.I. Joe and Star Wars. Looking for Pokemon? Chautauqua Comics has it all.
If you have any questions, stop in today or give us a call. Chautauqua Comics, Al speaking.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
So as long as he can walk, Josh Allen has no intention of letting a sprained left foot prevent him from playing against the Carolina Panthers this Sunday, and with the Bills' late-season playoff push needing a jolt. Though it's too early to determine whether he'll be cleared by the Bills' medical staff, the fourth-year starter left no doubt of his desire to play after practicing on a limited basis in a no-contact walkthrough session 3 days after getting hurt in the 32-27 overtime loss at Tampa Bay. A bigger test comes today when the Bills are scheduled to hold a full practice. Allen's injury comes at a critical juncture for the Bills in their bid of making a 3rd consecutive playoff appearance, which would match the team's longest run since a 6-year stretch spanning from 1988 to 1993. Well, in Warren, more than 100 frontline healthcare workers at Warren General Hospital averted a strike and have reached a new contract deal. Yesterday, the 114 nurses and healthcare professionals at the hospital overwhelmingly ratified the agreement. One, they say, addresses their concerns over staffing levels, which they said heightened the risk of their patients. They reached a deal earlier this week, just days after the caregivers gave Warren General Hospital leaders a notice of a potential strike, at a time when the hospital was dealing with many COVID patients there. The new deal has a significant staffing improvement, which was the nurses' main concern. The deal, they say, provides safer conditions for themselves and the patients. In addition to several measures to address short staffing, the new contract also includes enhanced retirement benefits and increased wages for nurses over the next 3 years of the contract. Well, Congress was able to approve the raising of the government's debt limit by $2.5 trillion, averting an unprecedented default. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp is breaking down why raising the debt limit received resistance from some congressional members.
On this vote,
in a late-night, last-minute vote,
the joint resolution is passed.
Congress agreed to increase our debt limit by $2.5 trillion.
The resolution we will vote on will provide for raising of the debt limit to a level commensurate with funding necessary to get into 2023.
The vote happened with little time to spare. The Treasury Department warned members the U.S. would be unable to pay our bills if Congress didn't act on this by December 15th. And if they failed to do so, it would have triggered a catastrophic financial crisis.
With this increase, Congress has now set the new debt limit number to $31.4 trillion.
Senator Pat Toomey voted against this increase. We spoke with him before this vote. He says members need to start taking steps on how we can reduce our overall debt.
The frustrating thing for me is we have accumulated too much debt. The federal government has got way too much borrowing. Our outstanding borrowings are more than the size of our entire economy by a lot, and it's continuing to get worse.
Congressman Glenn Thompson also voted against the increase. He says increasing the limit will hurt future generations. We also spoke with Senator Kirsten Gillibrand before the vote. She was confident Congress would pass this before the deadline.
It's something that we take very seriously. The full faith and credit of the United States should never be in doubt.
At the Capitol, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you. Well, since 2020, voting reform has been the center of debate around the country. And this week in Pennsylvania, Democrats and Republicans debated over several proposed voting laws. Democrats held a press conference Wednesday to speak out against the legislation they say will hurt poor and minority communities. Republican House Bill 2044 removes private or third-party funding in elections. Democrats say the bill will reduce voting access in certain communities. Republicans say it will promote free, fair, and uninformed elections, or uniformed elections.
It's a big deal, and so we have to look at this fundamentally as far as a state. Do we want to be privately funding our elections, or do we want to fund them ourselves?
House Bill 2044 passed Tuesday. It now awaits approval from the Senate. Well, we thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comment section down below. We appreciate you tuning in. Well, let's get a check of the comments. It's great to see Linda. Good to see Dale, Lori, Carter, Cynthia, and Jordan. Hopefully you all are having a wonderful day out there. We appreciate you tuning in here on Facebook Live and, of course, channel 716 on Roku. If you haven't downloaded that yet, it's so easy to do. Just search channel 716 and be sure to add that to your lineup today. Get lots of great local content, including our show. And I still can't believe it's 5 years of WNY News Now. Isn't that so exciting? Good to see our buddy Sean, Carrie, and Gary saying congratulations on the 5 years, Gary. We appreciate it. As I mentioned at the top, Dakota, it's really all about our viewers in the end, because that's who we do this for every day.
Yep. I mean, you know, I think I've mentioned it before. We're public servants. That's all we are. We serve the public. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here.
No. One of the big things that I think a lot of the public, and including myself, are looking forward to today is learning more about this windy weather which is coming our way. Is it going to be like what we saw over this past weekend?
No, it'll be nothing like we saw on Saturday, but there is a wind advisory that is in place for Chautauqua County. It's in effect now, and it will stay in place until 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. And this is, again, for the potential for some strong wind gusts. And here's just the threats for you, or the impacts here. 20 to 30 mile per hour winds with gusts up to 50. The strongest winds will be, as often is the case, Lake Erie shoreline and the hills of the southern tier. And just to show you the trash can window meter, yeah, it's probably going to be next door is where your trash can's going to be if you had to buy a new trash can to replace the one that yours went halfway to Syracuse on Saturday. So yeah, you'll probably be looking for your trash can next door today. But this is another thing we're keeping an eye on. Record warmth today. We're forecasting 58 here in the city. The record is 60 set in 1975. As we mentioned during the first weather segment, the clouds have started to move in now, so we may 58-degree high for today, simply because the clouds may actually keep the temperatures at bay, because of course with the cloud cover, solar radiation can't seep through it. But there's the clouds downtown right now. At 56 at the airport, southwest wind of 15, there's a wind gust of 24. So it is a breezy day out there, and we are going to see these wind gusts continue through the afternoon and especially through the evening hours. So First Defense Doppler radar just showing us clear scans across the region today. And here's what's going to be coming our way. This cold front is going to come our way later tomorrow. So basically much of the day tomorrow should be dry, but this front is also going to bring us a big mix of precipitation as we go into the weekend. So the newest run of future scan shows you those clouds thickening up through the afternoon hours. Then we'll see some rain showers returning later in the day. We're talking 4, 5 o'clock this afternoon is when you're going to start seeing some of these rain showers. So the early afternoon or mid-afternoon should be dry. Notice the clouds clear out for the overnight hours. Should go mainly clear overnight. Tomorrow should be a nice day, partly to mostly sunny. But then as we go into Saturday, we'll start to see that front arrive. And notice here, see this mixed precipitation coming on in, snow and rain, and even peeking out here, right down there, you can see some of that pink. Some of that's going to be some mixed precipitation that will come in on Saturday. So again, we'll keep you updated on that tomorrow. And of course, Andrew will have more on the weekend weather coming up over the weekend. So temperatures across the inland areas today, likely upper 50s. Don't think we'll break the record of 60 today, but it will be mild and windy through the afternoon. Now, the next 7 days of your life are coming up, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. Partly sunny tomorrow, a sloppy mess of rain and snow on Saturday, back down to 37. Scattered snow showers on Sunday. Early next week starts dry, and we start to warm up a bit, but some signs do indicate we could see some snow in time for Christmas, but that's TBA. We'll keep you updated. We'll take a break. Be right back.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
What could you lose in a home fire? Your possessions? Your home? Your memories? Don't let your world go up in smoke. Make sure you have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones, because fire is everyone's fight.
This message was brought to you by the Jamestown Fire Department and the Chautauqua Safety Village.
Remember when you were a kid, huddled around the television waiting for your school to close? Well, we don't get snow days. When winter weather hits, count on the First Defense Weather Team for a look into the future where the snow is headed next. Live radar showing you the scope of the storm. And real-time reports from the field. So when it matters most, stay with First Defense Weather.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. Happy holidays from WNY News Now.
While the holiday season can be stressful for some, it's also an important time to give back to the community. This is what 6th grader Taylin Kendall of Jefferson Middle School here in Jamestown is doing with her time yet again this year.
So I'm trying to donate toys to kids that don't have a lot or are struggling during these hard times, or that just have long or short-term illnesses or cancer, leukemia, and other illnesses.
The tradition began when Taylin was only 3, when she gave up her favorite toy for a child in need. The student also collects food for St. Susan's and participates in benefits for individuals in need of help. This year, her mom Tabitha says this is Taylin's biggest year yet, as she's accepting toys for 47 kids.
32 for going to a Jamestown public school. Specifically, and then the rest of the kids are specifically with just her mission. I mean, the youngest one we have right now is 6 months old, and they range all the way up until 17 years of age. Boys, girls, some are in the hospital, some are not, some are just, we're all over the place.
Though Taylin has a big goal to achieve, she's hoping for more help from the community.
We've only gotten 3 donations this year. 4 donations so far this year.
One today.
Yeah. And it's not looking very good. We're in hopes that maybe a business will see this, where they could be listed as a sponsor for donations.
Donations of hats and gloves are highly encouraged, as well as toys for those 10 to 14. You can donate via her Facebook page, where she keeps the community updated.
Legos, toys, fidgets, like crafts, makeup, nails, Barbies.
Hats and gloves.
Yeah, hats
earbuds.
and gloves. Earmuffs, earbuds. And another thing I would like to give them is happiness and joy.
The pair hope to have donations for Jamestown Public Schools by this coming Monday, and for Taylin's mission by the 22nd or the 23rd, so that they have time to wrap and distribute those gifts. Of course, head on over to their Facebook page, Taylin's Giving Mission, if you want to help out. Really incredible to see. And for such a little girl to have such a big mission, I think it says wonders about our community, Dakota, and about the fact that people have really stepped up to help. And I know that's one thing this year. There's so much going on. There's a lot of stressors, but at the end of the day, Taylin really just wants to make a difference. And it almost brings a tear to your eye, her saying that she just wants to bring happiness and joy. I mean, that is what our next generation should be looking for.
And I mean, to see it so young in a child's, or to see it in a child, so young like that is I think probably one of the greatest things, because, I don't know. I mean, in a way, I want to say it's like, raising a child right.
Right.
Because, the child thinks of others before they think of themselves.
Right.
And, it's just like what I say all the time. We need less pride and more humility. And I think that's a perfect example of that.
Yeah. I think it was 6 years ago. But before I worked here at WNY News Now, I actually interviewed Taylin. There she is on the screen. And back then, she was just starting out her mission. I think this was at Berjota's, if I remember correctly. And it was simple. She just wanted to brighten somebody else's day. And when you think about that, I mean, it's so powerful, because there are so many people who wouldn't give you the time of day. So thank you to Taylin and her mom, and please, 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 if you can, help out her mission in any way. Again, Taylin's Giving Mission on Facebook is the place to go, and shoot them a message, and they'd be happy to accept, I'm sure, your presence, or as they mentioned, if there's a business out there, they're looking to maybe set up a collection site or something like that. So that'd be really incredible. Well, that is it for us today. Of course, news 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We'll leave you with this live look over Randolph. Have a great day. Dakota and I are back here tomorrow.